Alright, so this is gonna be a quick little video, but I basically ranked every single NBA starter on this tier list. So I'm gonna quickly go over it. We got the 78 or below. These are guys who have a lot of potential, haven't reached it, or are really just mainly role players. Quickly, I think Cookie can honestly be on this tier, but Prime Pope was really good. Markel, Pokaskevsky, Tyler Tucker, he's had some really good scoring games. At Shua, he's been good, versatile defender, solid offensive player. Grayson Allen, Reddish and Wiseman, and Killian Hayes. He's shown a lot of potential, honestly. Then we got the 79 through 80 tier. These are the more higher tier role players. These are guys who, can potentially really be somewhat of an X Factor type players. So we got Marcus Morris, Pat Bev, all defensive player. Mason Plumlee, he's basically average. But he's good, he has good IQ, stuff like that. Kendrick Nunn, Terrence Mann had a really good playoff performance. Lou Dort, I feel like him being on the Thunder kind of holding him back. Josh Giddey, Markkanen, Williams, Caruso, Hardaway, and Sadiq, really good offensive players, can really just produce. Duncan Robinson, Chris Boucher. Then we got the upper tier Enchilada. These are guys who really good role players, more even better role players, and potentially at times all-star caliber players. So Montrez won 6th Man of the Year. Keldon Johnson, Reggie Jackson, Otto Porter at his peak on the Wizards. And this is by like players' peaks. I'm doing it off of peak. I'm not doing it off of current day. I'm doing it off of how good they were at their peak. We got Steven Adams. He looked really good with Russ Westbrook. Then we got the 85 to 87 list. These are mainly just all-star caliber players. I know Jamal Murray was not an all-star, but he had a really good playoff run in the bubble. I know a lot of people don't count that, but Shea, Jaylen Brown, DeAndre Ayton, Capella was really good as a lob threat. Jonas Valanciunas is very underrated. Allen, Jackson, Serge Ibaka, phenomenal shot blocker. Paul Millsap, very versatile defender. Bledsoe at his peak was really good. Michael Porter, he hasn't really utilized his size as much as you would want. Then you got DeAndre Jordan. People forget how good he was at his peak. Second in DPOY voting, leader in rebounds per game, great lob threat. And then Al Horford versatility. Then we got the 88 to 90s. These are like all NBA caliber players, like consistent all NBA caliber players. So I have a top list. Trae Young, you could argue Jason Tatum though. He's had a big improvement. Lamarcus Aldridge at his peak was very underrated. Blake Griffin was really good on the Clippers. Got Clay, people forget, dude was putting up 60 points in 3 quarters. Kevin Love was an All-NBA player, second team All-NBA player. Dude was putting up ridiculous numbers offensively. Cousins before, of course his defense kind of plummeted. Kemba Walker, people forget how good of an offensive player and how good of a ball handler he was at his peak. Then we got 91. Also, these 5 you could really just alternate and switch, but Pascal, Ben, because he was good defensively. D'Lo, because of that running out on the Nets. Levine and Draymond. Then we got the 91 to 93. This is the least amount of people. So we got PG, Prime PG was in MVP talks. Lillard, of course, ridiculous at his peak. So is Jimmy Butler. So is John Wall. These are kind of like MVP caliber players who had like a year where they're kind of like an MVP in MVP talks. Of course, Kyrie was not, but he had a really good playoff performance. And then we got 94s to 95s. They're like top 5 players. I have AD slightly over Jokic because even though Jokic is probably better he's a lot better offensively. AD was better defensively, and people are going to forget AD had to go up against, prime Russell Westbrook when he was averaging a 31-point triple-double. He had to go up against James Harden when the Rockets won 65 games, and he was averaging like 30. He had to go up against Giannis. So that's why AD has won MVP, because at his peak, he was going up against some historic seasons. But yeah, Jokic, Embiid, Luka. I could see you putting Luka higher because last year, dude was torching the Clippers, who had Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. D-Rose, prime D-Rose, underrated. Numbers don't really speak for how good he was. And of course, Carmelo. And then top 3, of course, obviously, they're the top 3 players. You could go, I'd say Westbrook, because 2017, even in the playoffs, dude was averaging a 31-point triple-double against the Rockets. Made the series relatively close. James Harden, I have him slightly ahead of Westbrook. Kawhi because of defense. And of course, top 4, you got RU. I have Giannis slightly ahead of Curry, but I could see you saying Curry better than Giannis. Really doesn't matter. And yeah, that's it for this video. Like, comment, sub. Yeah, I'm out.